Aha, passive income, the thing that we're all taught to desire and the thing that we all believe, or many of us believe, a membership community will bring us. But maybe it's not all as it appears. And that is what I'm going to dig into here on the Podcast Accelerator today. Should you build a membership for your podcast? Let's get into that in just 1 second. This is the Podcast Accelerator, coming at you 3 times a week with straight talking industry insights, action, education, and all manner of podcasting goodness from me, Mark Asquith, the CEO and co-founder here at Rebel Base Media, where we make such products as podcast websites, productivity, podcast success academy, and of course, Captivate.fm, where you can host multiple podcasts. You can use an industry-leading interface that is not only easy to use, but exceptionally powerful, and you can experience the finest customer support in the podcast industry. You can do that for 7 days, in fact, completely for free at Captivate.fm, so go and check it out. Now, I am going to talk about why memberships are superb, how they allow passive income, and why we should all probably be thinking about them as podcasters. But I'm going to do so with my typical air of mild cynicism and straight talking. But before I dive into memberships, just a quick shout out to, of course, AWeber, Megan, and the team over there. We're at Podcast Movement with me. They've been doing wonderful work for years in the email marketing space, and they continue to help me and podcasters that I work with to build amazing relationships with our listeners. So if you aren't doing that, you need to be, all right? You can go and get started with AWeber actually completely for free for 90 days. It's a 90-day free trial, which is insane, all right? Go and check that out now at markasquith.com/AWeber. Memberships really are superb. They allow for this passive income that we all desire. Or really, if we're in podcasting, especially the entrepreneurial podcasters out there, we're all taught that that is what podcasting will bring us. I have some thoughts on that. I don't think that is strictly true, but we are taught that if we're an entrepreneurial, and I'm doing that in air quotes, entrepreneurial podcaster, we should be aiming for passive income. Well, kinda. It's not really that passive. And the truth is that so many podcasters out there are really aiming for a membership income stream without realizing 2 key things. Memberships are a ton of work, and you need an audience. And I mean a real audience. Now, we've got a membership, all right? We have the Podcast Success Academy. And let me tell you that, yes, it's recurring, predictable revenue, but it is not easy, and it is the furthest from passive income that you can ever imagine. You have to be there, because guess what? Someone's paying you time and time again. So guess what? You have to deliver time and time again. Now, when it comes to a podcast, there are so many different types of membership. There's the traditional style membership where you generally kind of put people through a WordPress sign-up process. You'll do something like we do with the Podcast Success Academy. You'll have a niche and you'll offer workshops, community, masterminds, whatever within that membership. Or there are things like Patreon, where you'll offer a tiered membership in return for some money. $1, $2, $5, $10, $50, $100 per month from a patron, and you'll give them different levels of recompense. You'll give them either exclusive content or whatever, but ultimately they become a member of your Patreon crowd, and that's what they're doing. They're getting access to exclusive stuff based on paying you some money, all right? So that is a membership. But the thing is, like I said, these are not easy. All right, you have to deliver. You can't just say, well, I'm going to take this money and not deliver. I'm just going to take this money and not actually bring any value, or this is a passive income stream. Let's be really clear on passive income. Passive income is something that you don't really need to put work into. It's passive, all right? I don't know anyone that's really generating genuine passive income. Sure, some of the affiliate marketers out there, they're generating semi-passive income, but they've still got to update things. They've still got to go out there and review things. They've still got to actually make sure that things are up to date. So yeah, all right, I get it. It's disproportionately input for the amount of output that they get back. Okay, I get that. But it's not quite passive income. So a membership should never be considered passive income. And the real challenge with this is that, honestly, we monetized our show, Spark of Rebellion. It's a hobby show. It gets about 35 downloads an episode. And I've not used any of my podcasting or kind of quote unquote media contacts to generate this kind of audience, all right? I didn't want to use Spark of Rebellion just to get downloads. I could have done. I could have reached out to Mark Ramsey over at Wondery, who did Inside Star Wars, and said, do you mind doing something with this? Could have reached out to Lou Mongello over at Disney, who does the WDW show. I could have done all sorts of stuff to boost those numbers artificially, but I didn't want to, because I wanted to see what everyone is going through, what I'm going through as a new podcaster with Spark of Rebellion. And the tune is that, honestly, we've got a Patreon, and we make $44 a month from it, from 4 patrons. It's wonderful. We've got 36 downloads per episode. But do you know what? We don't really do much marketing for that, and it's really hard work. We've got to put the time into market it. I didn't want to shortcut that. And the reason for that is that I wanted to see, actually, there are so many podcasters out there wanting to start these Patreons, and rightly so. I think you should have one when you start your podcast, but you can't expect to be a gazillionaire and go and live somewhere on a beach instantly. It ain't going to happen, all right? The point that I'm getting to here is that memberships, Patreon, everything else that requires someone to invest on a passive and recurring kind of model, it requires a real audience, because guess what? This, when you're selling a membership, this is a sales funnel. If you got 10,000 listeners per episode, only 1 or 2% of them will take any action. That might be slightly higher for podcasts, because we know that podcast audiences are generally hyper responsive. But even if it's 10%, you still need 10,000 people jumping through that funnel and listening to your show each episode to get 1,000 people paying you $1. All right? So it's not that easy. And the reason that I wanted to talk about this was because I was at Retain last week, which is a conference which is run by the membership guys, without a doubt, the world's foremost experts on memberships. Mike Morris and Callie Willows, the great, great friends of mine. I spoke there as a favor to them. I was honored to speak there. And I talked about this sort of stuff. Free users to paying members. And it is not easy. But the sad thing is that people are being taught that. People are being taught by many people online, many quote-unquote gurus of podcasting are telling you that you can generate money quickly, and it's simply not the case. It's not that easy. You need an audience. And if you don't have an audience, it's going to be that much more difficult to actually do anything with your podcast when it comes to finance. So when it comes to the actions that you should take, everything that you should do should be around audience building. Only then, when you have people willing to buy, can you possibly sell something, all right? With Spark of Rebellion, we've seen this. Sure, we got $44. We got lucky. We covered our hosting costs from day one. Not everyone's going to be able to do that, all right? That, to me, is a result. I ain't going to live on a beach anyway. I ain't going to have the laptop lifestyle. But I can cover my hosting costs, all right? And I'm going to talk about this over the coming weeks and months, where we dig into actually some of the things that you can do. I'm going to talk about this through Rebel-Based Media and a few other places. Things that you can do to start generating an audience early, all right? So that's a big deal. But don't think for a second that Patreon or a traditional type membership on WordPress is an easy fix. It ain't passive income. It's bloody hard work, and you need an audience before you even think about it, all right? So just consider that. Just want to demystify that a little bit for you today in my typical ranty style. So thank you so much for joining me. It's always a pleasure. I love doing these sessions with you. This has been the Podcast Accelerator, and you can tell everyone that you know that is in podcasting that might benefit from this show, that it is free to listen to, of course, in any app that supports podcasts. And if you want to try, in my opinion, because I'm a little bit biased, the world's best podcast host, certainly the easiest to use on the planet, and the podcast host that allows you to host multiple podcasts for one simple cost and gives you the world's friendliest and most supportive support team, where you never feel like we're being condescending. We're never going to talk down to you. Go ahead and check it out. Captivate.fm. You can use it for free for 7 days. Use it on us for free and go and test all the features out, because you get every single feature included. You can do that. Captivate.fm. I will see you on the inside. And until the next session, thanks for joining me. And never forget, the more you expect from yourself, the more you will excel.